Hello, we are in Gate 18, working on what has been spoiled, the Gate of Correction. And today it's a third line day, and this is called the Zealot. We know the third line has the quality of having an introspective background, and it has the gift to project that outwards because it brings through the qualities of the first and second lines. It recognizes that there is something on the other side of the channel because it keeps bumping into it. And it figures out a way to deal with or adapt to that. The third line is in the emotional wave of bonds made and broken. And when you bring the two elements together, it can be irresponsible. It can get involved in a correction, and then it can suddenly quit. The Lifetime Learning says the energetic obsession to clean house. This is the trial and error zealot. One moment they are challenging things absolutely ferociously. 10 days later, they're gone. Then they try to challenge something else. And if that doesn't work, they go and try and challenge something else. The 18 is a place where people hurt themselves. It's a place where people punish themselves. They take this whole process and they say, I'm not good enough, I'm inadequate, I'm this, I'm that. It becomes a big thing. I need therapy. As you'll see as you go through all of these lines, as we go through this process, they see their inability to correct things as their fault. They see they don't have the power to change things. They don't have the people in their life who will cooperate with their need to change them. And they get deeper and deeper into self-criticism, into pointing their finger at the other. And that's not what the 18 is here for. It's not how the natural process of correction should work. It's not about pointing that finger either that way or that way. Logic circuitry is very critical. And in this gate of judgment and correction, it's so easy for that criticism to be turned inwards. It can be very challenging. The 18 is essential for us. It's the beginning of being aware about what we like and what we don't like. This is the stream of taste. And that can become an art in itself. It's not about being personal, though. And this can be the whole trap around Gate 18. There's this wonderful word in the Bible. It's called the goad, G-O-A-D. A goad was a prod that was used by cattle drivers, so it's like prod the oxen with a stick, that kind of thing, make it move. This was what the 18th gate is. That's the kind of thing. It's a goad, it's a prod. It isn't saying, do that again because you did it so badly. Do it again because you're inadequate. It's not saying that. It doesn't say any of those things. What it says is, do it again. The end. That's all. Mastery is rooted here in this whole circuit and in this particular stream, from the 58 up to the 16, all about mastery. And the moment you can recognize what you like and what you feel the collective will like, because you're part of the collective, that's the moment where you found your mastery direction in life. And the 18th gate will always be able to tell you that the piece of music that you just played, hey, you can play that better. And it's always true. It's endlessly true. It is infinitely true that every time you do it, you take yourself to another level. That repetition leads ultimately to mastery. And logic is all about repetition. Do it again. Do it again. How can we perfect it? It's not do it again because you fucked up. It's do it again because we want to see how can we make it better? The other side, the abstract circuitry, never wants to repeat anything at all. It's experience. It wants to have the experience and move on and have another new experience and move on. No, this is the splenic side. This is repetition for mastery. This stream of taste, it finds its expression in Gate 16, where you identify with what it is that you've mastered and where the dancer becomes the dance. Because it's so collective, because it's so dependent on the other for energy, this logical collective system, it has a deep need to socially interact to be fulfilled. And of course, this is lower trigram, so the gift isn't there. Now, those 18s, they don't really know there's a 58 at the other end. Oh, they keep bumping into something, but they don't know what they're bumping into. They're often deeply frustrated with constantly recognizing what needs to be fixed or corrected and being powerless to do anything about it. And then suddenly being empowered through a transit, through an auric contact with someone, empowered to do something about it, but it's never in their own timing. And we know everything is about timing. Ra said that one of the tragedies in life is that everyone who was or who is part of life, part of our lives, they almost certainly didn't enter in through strategy and authority. They may not be correct for us at all, and we can't change it. We can come to a new cycle 7 years later and we can start again. But the way in which we met, the way in which we took each other into our lives, that goes in on a cellular level. No, it stays with us for 7 years. We have to be clear about how we enter into anything, whether it's casual or not. If we're ourselves, we have the right timing. If we have the right timing, we get our life. And this is the energetic obsession to clean house. The exaltation says the distillation of old forms at an acceptable price, an obsession with correction and its critical potential. Excuse me. The third line wants to correct. It's equipped to correct. It is obsessed with correction. After all, this is what this gate is all about. If I cannot correct anything else, I'm just going to sweep the floor and make sure that everything is nice and clean. The willingness is there no matter what the correction is about. No matter how difficult it sounds, our collective would be lost without this, because it would have no basis for our talents. There is no logic talent without this critical capacity, the perfecting capacity, the need to correct, this need to challenge authority. Everyone would still be writing music in its original form. Everyone would still dance the way they first danced. Nothing would have grown without this correcting capacity. Nobody would have said, I judge that to be lousy. Let me show you what is good. Third lines are always banging into the other. They're always seeing the other as wanting, because they always can and they always will. If you're an 18 and you're in a relationship, the only thing that can tell you whether that relationship is good or not is your authority, whatever that happens to be. Not your capacity to see at any given moment half the things your partner does that you really don't like, because that's not what conditions you as to whether you belong in that relationship or not, because it's collective, it's not personal. And the only thing that can save you from making it personal is living out your type and your authority. So the detriment, rigid judgmentation that creates as many problems as it solves, an obsession with correction that does not bring satisfaction. So you keep on insisting that somebody corrects based on what you see as wrong, and it isn't going to satisfy you. You're never satisfied. This is the joke about the master. The master never gets to the point of satisfaction. Otherwise, they could never play the game of master. They just transfer that to their students. It's an endless process. Logic has to be constantly substantiated because of the great fear of mutation coming in and screwing everything up, making everyone have to start all over again, figuring everything out from the ground upwards. I know that this has to be corrected, whether you like it or not. The you on the other end has to provide the energy for correction. If you're an 18 and you do not have that vital energy of the 58, all you can do is complain. You don't have the capacity to do anything about it because you're not being energized. What happens to the people at the detriment level is they have all of this correcting energy, and they may get a chance to correct something, but it doesn't take away this sort of whatever that's inside of them that 2 seconds later says, Yeah, well, it's not quite good enough still. That thing we just corrected, it needs further correction. Let's correct it a little bit more. And on it goes. So the grounding comes through gate 17 in the third line called understanding. Again, it's so lovely how the earth is supported by the sun in this configuration. Logic circuitry is also called the understanding circuit. It is shared. It's one of its keynotes. And it's understanding of what it takes to be logical. It's not necessarily as easy as it sounds. You know, for the zealot to have some understanding of their own process, if that's possible, could be very helpful. So Mercury is joining the sun today in gate 18. We're talking about correction and judgment, so that's all going according to the program then. The moon is in gate 7 until 12:34, when it moves into the Ajna gate 4, the gate of formulas and youthful folly. The folly being the way that gate 4 just wants to give an answer, you know, any answer. I mean, it'd be great if it was the right answer, if it was a logical answer, if it actually answered a doubt, but hey, any port in a storm, any answer will do. And we have a channel here with Saturn being in gate 63. This is the channel of logic. It's the channel that gives its name to the whole circuit. And it is connected to the energies that we're feeling through the sun and the earth, through the nodes as well, all of it being in logical circuitry. The pressure to correct the pattern, to find answers to our doubts so that our opinions can be based on logic and have some validity to them because they've been tested and they work and the collective can benefit from them, until someone comes along and says, do you know, I tested that again. I think we can do better. But we have our answers, and now the moon brings our focus to gate 29. This is where we go next. And we have the opportunity here to commit to that answer. This is a sacral gate. It's the gate of saying yes. It's on the other side of the collective circuit. This is the sensing side. So it's a commitment to a new experience in order to discover something new, something that may be of value to the collective once we've worked out what the hell it means. So this is today's transit offering, and I hope you are enjoying this and getting some value from it. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow for the next one. And I was going to say something else, completely gone. I'll just say what I always say. Thank you for being with me, and go gently.